Again, importantly, when again we've touched upon this before without naming names, but Johnson and Johnson will be providing the approved bispecific antibody teclistamab, which again free of charge to the company, which is fantastic.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Poolbeg Pharma CEO Jeremy Skillington, as well as Principal Scientist Liam Tremble. James, very good to speak with you, and great news this morning highlighting how the POLB001 trial will feature in that groundbreaking cancer immunotherapy-induced CRS research program. Liam, let me start with you. Could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, happy to do so, Stephen. We're really excited this morning. So cytokine release syndrome is a major adverse event associated with a number of advanced cancer immunotherapies and really affects the administration of these in the clinic. What we're announcing this morning is a major endorsement that this is a significant problem in the clinic and something that's likely to grow. So the MRC, the Medical Research Council, have provided a grant where they're going to fund a research program entitled RISE. So RISE is standing for Reducing Immune Stress from Excessive Cytokine Release from Advanced Therapies. Essentially, the underlying pathophysiology of cytokine release syndrome, which of course is caused by cytokines driving this cytokine storm-like response. So the research program itself is going to be led by Dr. Jonathan Lim from the University of Manchester and the Christie Hospital. He's a clinical senior lecturer and an honorary consultant medical oncologist who works there. And this program is going to include the upcoming topical trial, but also include a much broader spectrum of research all across cytokine release syndrome. It's going to include patients treated with bispecific antibodies, with CAR T cells, which are all therapies that induce cytokine release syndrome. And it's going to really allow us to understand the condition in much greater detail and how a treatment would go across these therapies.
Jeremy, Poolbeg Pharma will act as lead business partner alongside some pretty big names. Can you tell us who's involved and what contribution each partner is making towards the RISE program, and also how the Medical Research Council plays into this?
Yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, we're delighted. As Liam said, Poolbeg is playing such a key role in this groundbreaking program alongside Johnson and Johnson, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, the University of Manchester and the Christie NHS Foundation, as well as other partners. So it's kind of a broad kind of collaboration. But as Liam said, trying to get to the deep understanding of the cytokine release syndrome. So as I say, our clinical trial that we've announced before the topical trial will be a key component of this consortium, you could say, where they'll be, we'll run the trial and at the University of Manchester, and then they'll look at that kind of CRS, this cytokine release syndrome. Again, importantly, when again we've touched upon this before without naming names, but Johnson and Johnson will be providing the approved bispecific antibody teclistamab, which again free of charge to the company, which is fantastic. But I said the Christie really are kind of driving this. It's the ambition to position the UK as a global leader in research, focus on the safe delivery of cancer immunotherapies. And we're very proud that POLB001 is actually playing a really key part to this understanding. So again, just a bit more detail. Part of the program, the Christie and the University of Manchester is supported by a £3.4 million Prosperity Partnership grant from the MRC. And again, this kind of grant signals that the research meets vigorous scientific standards. And, so again, they were happy to kind of, provide the funding for that. And the MRC, is part of the UK Research and Innovation and funds world-leading discoveries. And, can attract, again, enhancing our reputation, other people's reputation, and can attract further collaborations and investment. So it's really a strong endorsement. But I think importantly, getting to the ground and understanding CRS and what goes on, again, to prevent it in the future.
And Jeremy, what financial implication does this have on Poolbeg Pharma?
Actually, it has no financial implication on the company because our contributions were previously announced for the POLB001 topical trial. So we're already kind of contributing that, and I'd say it's a key component of this RISE study itself. And as previously announced, we've got a cash runway into 2027. So again, importantly as well, it's important to kind of state that it will not impact the delivery of the data of POLB001 in the topical trial, which interim data anticipated in the summer of next year, 2026.
Liam, what does this mean for POLB001 in the future for patients undergoing immunotherapy treatments?
Yeah, so Stephen, this is something that we've been saying for a long time now, and that cytokine release syndrome is a growing problem in the clinic and something that's preventing the maximal rollout of these cancer immunotherapies, life-saving cancer immunotherapies. So this is a major endorsement that cytokine release syndrome is growing in the clinic. It's becoming a problem. It's going to grow in the future, and it's not going to go away by itself. So this really puts POLB 001 in a center point position in cytokine release syndrome as a potential solution. So the goal with cytokine release syndrome is ultimately to make these treatments safer for patients. It's to make them easier to administer for healthcare practitioners, potentially to broaden access into community care and to make them available for more patients across the world. So this is really exciting for POLB 001. It really supports everything we're doing. It's going to help it get to an approval. It's going to help us get it onto the market. Everything that comes out of this is going to be really insightful for the company and support everything we're doing with POLB 001.
Well, I hope you'll keep us updated with progress with that program. Thank you very much for the update today.
Thanks, Stephen.
Poolbeg Pharma CEO Jeremy Skillington and Principal Scientist Liam Tremble.